Welcome back, my dear followers. This is the second part of a two-part series on Bugsy Siegel, which is part of the American Mafia, the history of the American Mafia podcast brought to you by Fabio Fabiano, translated and read by me, Grace Carlisi. So, meanwhile, something happens in the state of Nevada that will significantly increase Cosa Nostra's illicit profits. Just as with prohibitionism, it was once again the law and legislation that opened up yet another opportunity for the mafiosi. The state of Nevada's public administration, being a border area between the years of 1870 and 1931, to overcome the serious state of depression, decided to legalize any form of gambling. Therefore, after the war, Nevada was the only state where it was possible to gamble. The location was actually in the middle of the desert and not easily accessible. There were only casinos in the cities of Reno and Las Vegas, which were more like farms where it was possible to play poker. So, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel had a formidable intuition. He planned to transform Las Vegas, a desolate city in the middle of the desert, into a gambling mecca. The idea became an obsession for Siegel. It was to build a casino with an adjoining hotel. He realized that after the war, people wanted to travel and have fun, and that it was easy for the growing population of Southern California to travel, and the wealthy, naive businessmen from the Midwest and East could fly to Los Angeles by plane. His idea struck a chord with eminent mafiosi. Meanwhile, by the end of the 1940s, the public administrators who dealt with the authorization for the construction of casinos welcomed the Jewish and Italian gambling experts with open arms, pretending not to know that they were professional criminals. After all, their goal was to use the profits made by the casinos to increase tax revenues. Therefore, thanks to his intuition and favorable situation that was created in Nevada, in 1946, Siegel received funding from Costello and Lansky and other Italian and Jewish criminals. Siegel was an excellent organizer with considerable gambling experience. In fact, he had already worked with Lansky and Costello in the Florida Club in Miami. His dream was to build and manage a club destined to remain in the myth of gambling clubs in the States. And his dream came true. The Flamingo Casino was born. The name of the club, Flamingo, was the nickname Bugsy liked to call Virginia Hill for her long, thin, flamingo-like legs. According to his initial calculations, the building of the club was esteemed to $1 million, but a total of $6 million will be spent in order to complete. The club's opening inauguration on the 26th of December in 1946 was a disaster. The hotel rooms had not been yet completed, therefore the restaurant found itself at a loss, not being able to count on profits deriving from the hotel business. It remained closed for another 2 months in order to earn the money necessary to complete. The club's game room reopened in March 1947. Despite the new opening, the management of the club went into the red. On June the 20th, 1947, Siegel found himself in Los Angeles at the home of his mistress, Virginia Hill. Virginia left the house after a furious argument with Siegel. He was sitting on the sofa in the living room around midnight, reading a newspaper. 9 .30 caliber bullets fired from a military carbine through the window hit the gangster in the head and his upper body. The wounds were mortal. His head was literally riddled with bullets. The murder, like the vast majority of those that occurred during that period, remained unsolved. Siegel had been eliminated by the underworld partners, most likely, who had invested their money in the Flamingo and hadn't got a single cent back. and were convinced that Siegel had stolen their money under the pretext of building and running the place. After the murder of the gangster, the Flamingo, thanks to the new management, began to make profits and slowly transformed Las Vegas into the casino city of Cosa Nostra. Following this casino, the Mafia invested huge illicit capitals in the area, and others were built up until what we know as today as the famous Strip, or the Street of the Casinos in Las Vegas, was created.